Okay, welcome back to Teal House Farm. It's another cooking from the canning pantry today. And today we're actually doing a lunch, not a dinner. You could eat this for dinner if you wanted to. But we're going to be doing a grilled salmon pasta dish.
Grilled?
Yeah, well, I'll call it grilled. It's salmon cooked on the stove pasta dish. We're going to be using mostly stuff from our canning pantry. And let me show you what we need. And then along with that, we're going to make what I call a 40-minute focaccia. It's a focaccia bread, but it takes less than an hour, and 90% of it is either baking or just waiting while the dough rises just a little bit. So it's very low intensity, and it's a great way to get a bread on the table to fill some bellies without all of the work that comes with bread. So we'll show you how we make that. Okay, so here's what we need for the pasta dish. And of course, like anything, you can adjust this recipe to what you like. So if you don't like one of these ingredients, just leave it out. First, we're gonna open up this jar of oranges to use as a side for the kids. So those are home canned mandarins. And then for the pasta itself, I have some leftover pasta. So when I make pasta, a lot of times I will make more than I need. And then I just put the noodles in a bag and put them in the fridge. This is like our third day of using this pre-cooked pasta, so you can go a long way, and it doesn't always have to be with red sauce on it. You can reuse noodles for a lot of different things, and so make too much and save them, because then you can throw together an easy lunch because you've already cooked the pasta. So we'll be needing that.
You just need to warm it up.
Yeah, well, it's going to get warmed up in the dish with everything else. So we got some olive oil and some minced garlic, and then as far as the canning pantry goes, we have 1 can of salmon, and you can obviously can your own salmon. But this one's from the store. I've actually never canned salmon before. Maybe that should be on my list. And then we have some spinach, onions, and mushrooms. We're going to throw some of this real crumbled bacon in it. I love this stuff. It is so easy to use, and it's real bacon. It tastes great. And you're probably going to want some sort of cheese. You could leave the cheese out if you're lactose intolerant, but we're going to use a little bit of this off-brand grated Parmesan cheap stuff. And also I pulled out some mozzarella from our freezer pantry. I always keep lots of bags of cheese in the freezer pantry because with so many kids, you never want to run out of cheese. But we're not going to use all of the cheese, just a little dash of cheese on top. So the pasta dish, while it has a lot of ingredients, it goes together really fast in 5 minutes or less. So we're going to get the bread almost done, and then we'll throw together the pasta dish. Not the paddle, so it looks like Captain Hook.
Hard. Watch this video or I'll use my hook on you.
If you don't want to use a mixer, you can do this by hand. It's just a lot faster to use the hook attachment on the mixer. So we're going to put 3/4 cup warm water, a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, and 1.5 teaspoons of yeast in this bowl. We're going to let it sit for 5 minutes. While we're letting it sit, the little ones get out and do their own cooking with Play-Doh to keep them busy while we get this dinner done. After 5 minutes, we're ready to finish up. So we're going to do about 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 2 cups of all-purpose flour and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. That's it. That's all you need. And we're going to mix it together really well. It's going to form a dough ball in the center of the mixer. Once you see it looking like that, you know you're good to go. Put some flour down on a surface, and you're gonna knead it just a couple times to get it all worked in there. Make sure there's no sticky parts on it. And then you're gonna roll it out with a rolling pin. It takes a little bit of muscle to roll this out. We need it to be as big as our 11-inch skillet, so it's quite a bit of rolling. Then we're going to place it inside our skillet. This is a cast iron skillet, so I don't need to grease it. If we're using something else, you will need to grease your pan. We're going to cover it with a clean kitchen towel, and we're going to put it in a warm but off oven for 20 minutes while it rises just a little bit. Of course, the next step while we're waiting is always to clean up our workstation so there's less to do later. Micah gives me a hand and sweeps the floor. Once 20 minutes are up, you can see it's a little puffier now, and we're going to dimple it using our fingers. That's just kind of pressing little finger holes, not holes like all the way through, but just little dimples into the dough. And then we're going to brush on this butter mixture. This is 3 tablespoons melted butter, 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese, and a pinch of Italian seasoning. We're going to brush half of this mixture onto our dough, and then we're going to stick it in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. While that's cooking, we're gonna go ahead and get our pasta ready. So several tablespoons of olive oil, 2 cloves worth of minced garlic, our drained salmon, about just a dash of salt and a dash of pepper, just kind of to your liking. And then we're gonna do a half pint of drained onions and a half pint of drained spinach. We're gonna mix that all together really well and just let it cook for 3 or 4 minutes. Then we're going to add our cooked pasta noodles. I got about 2.5 cups of noodles here. We're gonna mix that in really well. The olive oil is gonna keep the noodles from burning to the bottom of the pan, but you do need to mix while you're cooking to make sure they don't get stuck down there. We're gonna add a half pint of drained mushrooms, 2 handfuls of mozzarella cheese, and just a dash of Parmesan cheese. We're gonna mix that all together really well, and we'll add a pinch of the crumbled bacon, and then we're ready to go. It's all done. The bread is done. We'll take it out of the oven. We're gonna brush on what remains of our butter mixture we made earlier. And then use a pizza cutter. That's the easiest way to cut this up into nice little triangles. We're gonna get our oranges done. I just canned these and I haven't tried one yet, so I'm really curious. We're gonna give it a taste test. And they're actually really quite good. We get the plates ready for me and for Sam. So we have a little leftover salad, oranges, the pasta, and the bread. And then I realized I didn't have enough pasta for everybody, and so I made some mac and cheese for some of the kids. And we'll get their plates set with the bread, the oranges, and some salad and mac and cheese. And then everybody has plenty to eat. This is a big lunch because we're gonna eat dinner really late tonight, so we're gonna make sure bellies are nice and full. There are some leftovers, so we're gonna go ahead, we'll package those up in a minute and save them, probably for a Sunday afternoon, so I don't have to cook lunch. We can just heat up the leftovers. Mitter P approves of lunch. Leftovers are getting packed up for probably lunch on Sunday, and then we'll be good to go. I hope you enjoy. Thanks so much for watching. If you're interested in more cooking with our canned items from our home canning pantry, check out the playlist below.